was very high-pitched. Hi! Hi there. Hello. I always wave like everybody else waves at me and I feel like I need to wave back. Hello everybody. Thanks for coming in. How are you all doing on this quite gloomy Monday in Yorkshire? I don't know what it's like by you. Hello everybody coming in. Wow, there's lots of people here today. That's good. Hi. Hi. Okay, right then, let's get going. So, how are you all doing? Hopefully well. Bit crazy week last week, and this is what I'm going to be talking about today. But before I get onto that, just as I always mention, if you're after psychologies delivered to your door, please go and have a look at the link in the bio. And we're eagerly awaiting my new edition because I think it's a bit delayed this month, so I'm ready for it to arrive, definitely. Oh, sunny in London, that's good. Sunny in Hampshire. Oh, you're lucky. It was sunny here this morning, but it's cold now. It's 3 degrees this morning when I first got up. Okay, so welcome everybody. If you haven't been here before, these are the Gaining Creative Confidence sessions that I've been doing with Psychologist magazine since, a couple of months now. This is the 8th one, and if you ever want to look back on the other ones, they're on the Psychologist TV channel under the Better You section. So if you ever want to look back on those, have a look. I did have a bit of a technical issue on the last episode of this, so I'm hoping that's not going to happen today because it really stressed me out. So hopefully that won't be the case. But if you want to look at this later and the link's not there for any reason, it's because I'm desperately trying to sort it out with Psychologists and save it because it just didn't work last time for some reason. Anyway, hopefully that won't be the case. Lightning won't strike twice. Sunny in Cams, recovering from a hysterectomy. Oh gosh, that doesn't sound good. Hope you're okay. That's not good, but hopefully we'll cheer you up over the next half hour. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a vulnerable truth one, to be honest, this edition, because last week I was definitely suffering from what on earth is going on in this country right now situation, and I think a lot of people were feeling like that. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I did a couple of posts about it, just saying that I felt completely discombobulated, which I love that word. And when I managed to say it, when I did the practice before, I couldn't say it. So at least I've managed to get that out. But that's exactly how I was feeling last week, and I'm sure a lot of other people were. And if you were, please give me a thumbs up, and then I don't feel like, it's just me. But, it's interesting when you are trying to be creative or are, that is part of your work, how that has such a huge effect on what you do and how you do it. So I wanted to talk about that this week because it's, I'm glad I'm getting some thumbs up, it's not just me. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that this week because it really kind of flummoxed me and I felt completely stuck and I didn't quite know what to do with myself, to be honest. And I think a lot of people felt like that last week. So this is kind of my guide to getting back to your creative mojo, which I hope, might help. And I've talked about this on my blog as well today. So if you want any more backup information about it or links, have a look there later. And then at the end, as I always do, it's good that I'm getting some thumbs up. Thank you. Good, brilliant. So it's not just me. So yeah, then at the end of this, I always do some tasks that will hopefully get you back in that creative frame of mind or just give you some ideas of what to do. You might want to do more creativity but not entirely sure where to start, and that's what these sessions are all about, is giving you some prompts to kind of head you in the right direction and just enjoy doing it really and having some me time. The blog is called, sorry I should have said that at the beginning, I didn't even say who I was, did I? So I'm Juliet and I'm from it's the Curious Creative Club, which is just me, but that's my website and blog, so it's called the Curious Creative Club and I blog there weekly. I'll just give you a bit of a background on what I do. So yeah, I blog weekly. I do art, writing and photography, things for myself and to sell sometimes. And also we run a local accountability group that I do with a friend. And generally I just love doing all things creative. I do a whole host of projects, to be honest. So it's It's a bit mad. So yeah, I do lots of different things, but it all comes together in the end. And yeah, so let's begin then. So as I said, I was feeling very strange at the beginning of last week. But the good thing is I listen to a lot of podcasts. So on one of my dog walks, it was like it was meant to be. I listened to Emma Gannon's Control-Alt-Delete. Thank you for coming in. Control-Alt-Delete podcast, which I don't know if you've listened to before, but it's really good. And she did an interview with Dr. Surf, and they were talking about, thank you, Kirsty, they were talking about self-sabotage, because I think Emma's bringing a book out with the same title. And she interviewed Dr. Surf about how we're all feeling and what we are doing in this situation of COVID and how we are self-sabotaging ourselves. So she talked about, obviously, the kind of stress responses, the fight or flight and the kind of freeze mode. And that's definitely what I felt like I was in. It wasn't a fight or flight. It was literally, I'm stuck in the middle. I don't know what to do. And I, like many British people, I wandered around my kitchen just making lots of cups of tea, which, was very nice, but it didn't really get me doing much. So, yeah, if anybody else has felt like that and that's what they were doing, please say hi. And so, yeah, she was good because she, acknowledged that what it was I was feeling was completely normal, and it doesn't mean that you're struggling. And I don't like that word struggling, because to me that kind of makes you feel almost like it's a weakness, when actually it's just entirely normal human trait that we're feeling. So she kind of confirmed that was the case, and that made me feel a lot better. So that was the first thing I did, was listen to her and just go for a walk, and that this was a normal response that I was having. So then I thought, right, okay, the first step, I suppose, is acknowledging that that's how you're feeling, and this is what your brain is trying to do. Essentially, it's trying to just protect you and, keep you safe from what on earth is going on out there. So that made me feel better. So then I started thinking about, okay, right, this is normal. What can I do to help myself? So first off, I dropped the expectation levels. I don't know about you guys, but I write endless lists of things to do, even though I tell myself I should only write 3 a day. I end up writing a whole host more. And I'd seen something, I grid on a local Instagram account where you portion it into 4, and you have important, less important, urgent and less urgent. And so I did that and put all my tasks into those, and instantly then, immediately, you only really have one box to deal with, the urgent and the important. So straight away, you feel better about what you've got to do and what you're trying to tick off. So that was the first thing I did. The second was I got outside. So what happened was, last week on the Monday, it was a beautiful sunny day in Yorkshire, and I'd been for a dog walk on the local reservoir. Hi everybody coming in, thanks for joining. And it was a beautiful day. I took loads of pictures for my other account. That's a good point, actually. I have a nature account as well, called @soothed_by_nature. So I took loads of gorgeous photos. It was a very mindful walk. I felt really relaxed coming back. And then I don't know if it was Monday night where we got the Boris announcement, or Tuesday night, but the next day it just rained all day long in Yorkshire. And I don't know about anybody else, but I definitely feel like I'm one of those seasonal affective disorder people, where if I don't get enough light or walking out in nature, I definitely feel, that it's not good for me. So as soon as it was raining all day, I think I dragged the dog up the lane for 20 minutes, but, it's not a pleasant walk, is it, when it's like that? So that instantly, doesn't make you feel good, does it? So as soon as that rain let up, I got outside, got some clarity, moved my body, and that can definitely help, to shift your state. Just get up and go somewhere else, move about, rather than sitting there in despair wondering what on earth to do with yourself. So yeah, I went on a walk to the local woods, and whilst I was out there I thought, right, let's have an accountability meeting with myself. What's one of those, I hear you ask. But I'm big on accountability, and like I said, we run a local group as well. So I thought, why not turn the tables just on myself and just do it with myself? And I checked in and thought, right, what have I actually done this week? And instead of berating myself for what I hadn't done, which is what I was focusing on, I started thinking about what I had done. And although it felt at the time very piecemeal and also not what I'd necessarily planned, I found myself going down different routes, a bit of a rabbit hole, But it was all kind of useful stuff, just not what I had planned. And when I added it all up, it was fine. I'd done quite a lot. So that was the reality check. Why am I having a go at myself when actually there's no need to? So that was the third thing, I think. The fourth thing was to reconnect on a real level. So, you're all Instagram followers. You know what it's like with the big, nice, shiny accounts out there with the perfect homes and the lovely life. And while that's all very nice and, aspirational, it's not necessarily always real, is it? So what encouraged me in this was Jane, who runs the Flex Collective, a local co-working space. I'm pointing like you guys know where it is. You don't, do you? So it's a co-working space that's local, and obviously with Boris saying everybody work from home, that wasn't helping her business, and she was having a rough day that day, and I really felt for her. But what she called it when she was on Instagram was a truth bomb, and I thought, wow, that's actually quite brilliant. And she'd basically vented how she was feeling that day and called it a truth bomb, and I thought, well, that's a great idea, I'm going to do the same. So I posted a windswept photo of myself. For anybody who doesn't know, I had chemo treatment last year, it's this year. This is what I mean. No one has any concept of time anymore, especially me. So yeah, my hair's growing back and it's a bit wacky and fluffy and all over the shop at the moment. So I pictured a photo of my hair looking very windswept, basically saying this is how I feel right now, and I listed all that out. And whilst it takes a bit of courage and a bit of confidence to do that, the result is that you always get great engagement and people understanding how you feel and them connecting with you too and saying, yep, I feel exactly the same, just like you guys have done today. So that felt really good to just, put it down. This is how I'm feeling, rather than hiding in a corner and not connecting with people. So that's the next thing I did. After that, I got out of the house, which, is rare these days. But I popped down to this co-working space that Jane was at, because we're going to be running our local WOW group from there. So we popped down, had a meeting down there, and, the offices are beautiful and it's all perfectly COVID safe. And we had a meeting down there, and it was just really nice to be with, my normal kind of people, working colleagues, and do some planning for when WOW relaunches down there. So that was really nice, just to see some real human faces. Then the last thing I did, which, sometimes is good, sometimes is not, but it's definitely the kind of thing that I do. So I'm quite curious by nature, hence the Curious Creative Club title. And I did some research and found out what other things were out there, other help that was out there. And I belong to quite a lot of Facebook groups, and everybody was sharing on there how they were feeling, and I got engaged with that community. And it's just the sharing is caring thing, isn't it? And you begin to understand how everybody's feeling and that it's not just you. So again, whilst that's not for everyone, as I know, when I got diagnosed, I did my Dr. Google thing, which I was told not to do, but actually it really helped me and prepared me and made me feel more robust to the news. So I kind of tend to do that. I don't know if it's kind of the career that I had before all this. I was in marketing and PR and writing and things like that. So it's kind of that investigative nature of mine that I just want to find out what the big picture is so that I can then deal with it. And this is what I've talked about on my blog today. That was part of the problem, in that I'm very much a researcher and I like to fix problems, and when I can't, I don't know what to do with myself, basically. So yeah, that's what I did then. And then the seventh thing is, and it sounds, really simple, but it's just give yourself space, give yourself that brain space for creativity to come back. For anybody who's read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, hands up if you've read that, give me a shout, because it's one of my favourite books on creativity, and it's all about how ideas come and find you, not necessarily you go find the ideas. And I was a bit sceptical about this until I started reading that book, and then it's a regular occurrence for me now that I wake up at 4 a.m. and that's when I get my ideas in my head, ready-made or raring to go. And it's frustrating and pleasant in equal measures, in that it literally wakes me up, and then I can't get back to sleep and I have to try and remember what all this was about in the morning. So Usually I can remember, but sometimes I can't. But that's what happened. So I gave my brain space that week. I did some nice things. I had some nice walks and just took the pressure off, basically. And once again, the 4 a.m. ideas returned. One was the idea for writing a workshop on a blog. So I had all the content information in my head downloaded ready. And the second thing was the task for today. So yeah, it always comes to me in the end. It just takes some time, and sometimes it's like really close to deadlines, which is not helpful. But you have to kind of just go with how it is. And so this is where I'm at now, and I'm feeling much more positive this week, which is really good. I'm happy about that. And whilst, like I say, it's really hard to sit down and stare at a blank page, what these sessions are all about is giving you prompts to enable you to do some creative activities and feel those well-being benefits from what that does. So that kind of you're so into something and you're concentrating so hard that you lose track of time. That's what we're aiming for. That's like the golden treasure in the creativity pot, I'd say, which sounds really cliche and a bit creepy, doesn't it? But it's true. Is everybody still there? Paused a minute then. Are you all there? Give me a thumbs up if you're still here. That panics me then. It said poor connection. So hopefully you're all still there. Give me a wave if you are. Are you there? I'm hoping you are. Oh no, people are going. Please give me a thumbs up if you can see me okay. Yes, phew. God, see, technology, it scares the hell out of me. Thank goodness for that. Right, okay. Right, I don't know what happened there. But anyway, on to the task before it goes wrong. So, phew. The task today is, I did this a while ago as an Instagram challenge, and it was called Seeking Sparkles of Joy, and it's what I did right at the beginning of lockdown to basically encourage people to just search for those little sparkles of joy in your day. And the Instagram challenge was obviously to take a picture and tag as a hashtag. Yes, brilliant, you're all still here, thank you. And so I thought we could extend this idea, and it is literally about finding the really small things that bring you joy, and to think about those and write about them in a really honest way that will make you feel like you are in that moment, which sounds a bit woo, but bear with me. So you can do this on kind of like a seasonal level, you could do it on a senses level, you could just write one big list. It really doesn't matter how you want to do it, but I just thought if you're looking for ways to start, you could think about doing it from a seasonal point of view. So I've done 6 myself, just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, and it's about tapping into the senses again, and thinking about all the senses that we have, that you absorb things through, I guess, because it's not all about what you see or what you hear. We as humans, we take on everything through different ways and means. So I'll just read out my kind of 6 examples, and it sounds a bit weird reading them out, but hope you bear with me. And once again, being creative, try to write this out as descriptive as you can so that you feel right back in that moment. So the first one is, and I'll just keep reading them and then explain afterwards. So the first one is the satisfying snap of twigs and squelch of soggy leaves underfoot. I'm going with an autumn theme, by the way. The second one is the sweet tang of freshly picked blackberries bubbling and spitting on the stove to make filling for pie. The howl of the wind as it picks up and whistles down our path. The soft buttery mash melting on your tongue, the perfect companion for hearty sausage casserole. The intense heat of the fire stove reignited and brought to life once more with fierce flames and the cosy aroma of curling smoke. And the final one is piles of books to read on a promise, an excuse to be still under the comfort of blankets. So those are kind of 6 things that I love about autumn, and you'll see that I used lots of different senses there. So there was the taste of like the sausage casserole, there was the smell of the curling smoke, and I tried to really use an example of senses for every single one. And that's what I'm talking about, really. So it can be literally anything. And I used to have a list like this on my laptop that I couldn't find earlier, but I think I used to call it Blue Skies and Cherry Pies, as just a list of things that I love. And it's as simple as that. And it does sound simple, but it'll be really interesting to see what makes that list, or whether you do a massive one and then you reduce it and think, yeah, I'm not feeling it so much with some of them, and really refine that list. But then what I thought you could do after that, and bear in mind, I'm not joining you again for a month, so this is to last you kind of like the next 4 weeks. And you know, if you want to take part in this, I really want you to book some time into your diary to do this. So you could do it in 2 ways. You could either do it on Instagram, like I said, as a challenge to yourself, or a challenge with your followers or friends, and call it, you know, Juliet's Joy List, or whatever you want to call it, and get them involved. And then, you know, you can all talk about it. And quite often you'll see people list things, you know, like Instagrammers, influencers might say a bit about themselves, and they might just do a list of things that they love, and you're like, oh yeah, I like that, I agree with that. And you know, that is great because it creates that connection and engagement. So it's a good thing to do as an Instagram challenge. The other thing I thought you could do is, if you're up for this, and if you want to get children involved, as it's coming up to October half term, is you could almost create a scrapbook. So you could do like one for each season, or just one big one. And you could get the kids involved in this as well, and maybe do like a family one. What are the things that you love? And I just thought it'd be such a nice thing to do, that's kind of, you know, a physical, visual thing to do, but that could be passed down through like generations, really, which, you know, not being morbid or anything like that, but quite often, you know, we don't know the kind of things that our ancestors really loved at the time when they were here. And I just think it'd be a really nice thing to do, other than just photos of yourself or family, to get a real insight into people and what they loved at that time. So that's another way of doing it. And then, so in essence, what I want you to do is kind of write out your sentences first. Secondly, categorise them if you want to categorise them, but you don't have to. It's entirely how you like to do these things. Collect things connected to those thoughts. So, for example, you might love Werther's Originals, and you could put a Werther's Originals wrapper in there. Or, you know, if you like things out on walks, you could collect those and put those in there. Or it could even be like a treasure box, you know, with a notebook in with that box that explains everything. There's loads of different ways you could do this, but I just think it'd be such a nice thing to do, to kind of give an essence of that person and what they enjoy during this time, and especially something to focus on that we do love during this really rough time. And you know, again, that could be another category. You could have it as like a what we loved during lockdown box. So it might be that you spent more time at the dinner table together, or you played more games, or that you camped out in the garden, things like that. So again, it could be a real historical thing, that moving forwards. So give me a thumbs up if you think that this sounds like a thing that you'd like to be involved in. Thanks for coming in, everybody. There's a few more coming in now. So we're coming to sort of the end of this shortly, but by all means, you know, go back to the beginning, have a watch, and also I'll put this link in another blog post later as well, so you can watch it back. But I'd love, you know, when we've done these sessions, what's been really great is that people have shared their work with me. So they've sent it either on DM on Instagram, or you can put it on the Connected Communities page for psychologies. There's lots of ways you can share it with us. Thank you, Rachel. I definitely want you to do this. She's part of my accountability group. And yeah, it'd just be really, really nice if you gave this a go. And it can be as long or as short as you like, really. Oh, thanks, Kirsty. That's really kind. Thank you. So you can engineer this any way you like. It's just a way of focusing on the good stuff, having some creative time, and seeing what you come up with. You know, it'd be really, really nice to see what you all love doing, to be honest. So yeah, last thing. So if you do a scrapbook, what I would like you to do at the beginning is almost like a bit of an intro or a foreword to say, you know, what this book means to you, what it's about, how old you are, what's happening in the world then. My Insta tag, Kirsty, is The Curious Creative Club, so you'll find me there. Yeah, it's just all one word, The Curious Creative Club. Thank you. And yeah, you could add like a selfie in at the beginning to kind of explain, you know, what age you are, what's going on in your life, what's happening in family life, what job you have, things like that. So a bit of an intro at the beginning, that'd be really nice as well, I think, for anybody else that picks it up. But also, you know, keep it near you. So when you are having a bad day, then pick it up, read it through, and I'm sure by the end of it you'd feel a lot better. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that feels like something you could have a go at. Like I say, please do share with me. I'd absolutely love to see them. I'm just having a look here just to check there's nothing I've missed, because I always write everything out and stuff. Yeah, so the just to let you know, I've just posted my 80th blog post this morning. I've been doing this a year and 9 months now, and I've finally hit number 80. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the year. Not sure if I'll do it, but I'll have a go. So yeah, go and have a look there. This kind of talks about my last week and those steps that I took to get back to that creative mojo part. And then later on today, I'm going to do a separate blog that has this link in and also the task in there, so you can always check back there later as well. So thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure today. Lots of you have joined, so that's been really nice. I was a bit nervous this morning because I hadn't done one for a month, and I was like, oh. But yeah, you've made it all great. So thank you very much for joining, and I will see you very soon. The next one will be on October the 26th. So hope to see you then. Okay, take care. Have a great week. Thank you. Bye.